Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is going to be exciting. I mean, yesterday we had a live person, Jose,
Yeah.
and now we got some bones in there, I kind of get used to it. Like, it's like when you sleep with somebody for 20-something years and then,
I've never done that.
okay, well, what was your maximum time you slept with somebody?
I don't know. Actually, it was.
You were
I think
married
it
for
was-
how long?
I think it was 26 years.
Sweet Jesus, was it 26? I
Yeah,
made it
yeah.
24.
Wow.
Wow, those are
See?
both lifetimes. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like going from somebody next to you to nobody next to you? Not nobody in your life, just nobody next to you.
Well, it really depends on where you're at when your long-term relationship, whether it be a marriage or whether it be a long-term relationship with a significant other, it depends on where you were. Kind of like who blinked first, who filed for divorce, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, without getting personal, because the other half is still out there, and I'm not about offending that or inflaming that thing.
Sure.
I was great.
Yeah, it was okay. Okay. Yeah, I get that.
I was more than good, and
Okay.
honestly, probably so was she. We.
Absolutely.
I hate to say it, but I think we
Ran its course?
We just, a
Those three words?
certain somebody who suggested that people get together, right? They get together with each other,
Okay.
and there's some kind of cosmic spiritual agreement, and you wonder why girls and guys come and go. You
John,
wonder.
we're going to get into this. Let's do a countdown, an introduction. Let's talk about people that come in and out of our life.
Love it.
How we got bones in our life and now we can't seem to get rid of them. How's that? That's
Yeah,
good?
yeah.
All right, let's do a countdown, pal.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back, friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Jersey Alchemist. I'm your host, Dr. John Gerard Gallucci.
And I'm Philip D'Angelo.
And we got Bones front and center. He's been a little bit pissed off at us. The Bones. A little bit pissed off
Been
at us.
neglected.
As a matter of fact, he was so pissed off, he had to go back to surgery several times with friends of mine that are ortho trauma surgeons, just to put him back together. And he demanded through his agent, now that's where we're at, right, Bones? It's okay, all right, that he be front and center, but he still refuses to speak. So, okay, it's okay. Maybe next episode, Bones.
He wants
All
to be
right?
seen. He wants
Wants
to be seen.
wants to be regarded,
can do
intact.
We can do that. So, John, people that come in and out of your life, maybe people, even not only just romantically, but friends. Certain people come into your life, and maybe they're only meant to be there for a short time.
Yeah.
6 months, a year and a half.
Right.
Just to get you maybe through what you have to get through? What do you think?
I think that's true. I really do believe that, and my life is kind of, I think it's made that obvious to me.
Yeah.
Other people may not feel that way, but look at Bones. He's here, and we can't get rid of him.
Can't get rid of him.
Even,
He always
even though he's
seems to
pissed off at us.
Show up, yeah. So you don't believe in chance meetings then? I mean, there's no meeting like you were meant to, somebody come into your life that, like, let's face it, our generation, I mean, there are people on the internet meeting people, but, I mean, we used to meet people face to face, and chance meetings, I mean, maybe.
You know what? Chance meetings happen all the time, but I think it's the relationship that ensues. And we're not talking about a hot and heavy thing. We're just talking about, even an acquaintanceship.
Sure.
If that kicks off, and now that's going in and out, over a year. Like, for instance, somebody I may work with at work, right? Mm-hmm. You inherently enjoy their presence, or just as equally, you may be continually irked by somebody's presence. You see, people are meant to be in our lives, for what we think ostensibly is for our better or for our worse, for better or for worse. and very often the people that come into our lives that play the heavy, that play the cheating spouse, or the thief that's your business partner that crushes and destroys you, or not so much. Maybe he was the guy or the gal that was bleeding you dry over 15 years of a business association, and you don't find out until it's long done and over with. Those people are in your life for a reason.
Absolutely, good
Yeah.
or bad. I mean, maybe people come into our life just because, sometimes we need somebody to talk to that's different. Maybe somebody with a different perspective, somebody
Yeah.
from a different culture.
Right.
Or, comes into your life and you just start, hey, well, this is what happened in my life. And maybe they might
Right.
say, well, when that happened to me, this is how I got through it, or this
Right.
is what I did. And you're like, yeah, so maybe it's just,
Yeah, no, I think that's true, and I think that life really is like a stage play. I mean, if you miss your mark and you miss your cue and you're supposed to come in, enter
Wow.
stage left, it's like, whoa, hey, wait, where's the school principal? And then the stage manager or whatever might be going, hey, psst, psst,
yeah.
get out there. Meanwhile, they're asleep or they're on the toilet. They have diarrhea. I don't know.
Do you ever feel like you've missed your cue? I mean, I feel like I definitely have missed my cue a few times.
I could say that with a handful of women in my life. That, oh, geez, wouldn't it have been wonderful? I missed my cue. I think, truthfully, no, I don't think that that's the truth. For me,
Yeah.
I ultimately don't think. I think it's just, for me, I think it's kind of fanciful, wishful thinking that you think that whatever your life is could have been so much better with this one, that, that it just never materialized. For whatever reason, you were attracted to each other, you knew each other for a long time, and it just never happened. And if it just never happens, I believe it wasn't meant to happen. That's what I believe.
So do you feel there's like a higher power that puts forces together?
Absolutely. But I'm going to say this.
Please.
Ready? Drum roll. The higher power very often is you.
Really?
Yes, it's absolutely true. It's just like and I've said it, I think we have an episode on, seeing and interacting, communicating with your higher self. All right, let's go back to a theory. And the first time I heard this theory, I was a bit stunned. I was sitting in a synagogue for a Jewish wedding out on Long Island. This is decades ago. And the rabbi was a woman. And she went on this talk about fate and destiny and coming to earth and being incarnated. It really was what she said 30 years ago.
Wow.
Really is very in an eerie way, very similar to all the stuff that I believe and I speak of now. So she was talking about how we kind of send out a pseudopod. In other words, an amoeba will morph, and
force?
most of
Like a force?
well, a part of us, and I would say it's a fractal, which means we send out this very tiny but yet complete, non-lacking faction or fraction or fractal of ourselves to come and have this earthly physical experience, while the brunt of us, most of us, is still back there in the spirit world on the other side. I've studied all sorts of issues where we have spirit guides and elders that are in our forever eternal existence. And you just reminded me to turn my cell phone off. And we have those, let's call them sages, for lack of a better term. We have those sages that guide us. And I've said this on a video before. Picture elders with long gray hair and beards, and they're in robes, and they kind of hobble up to a marble table, and they have these scrolls, and you're there because it's their moment to be counseling and moving you forward. And they put the parchment scroll out on the table, and they're speaking to each other. Then they look at you and they confer with you, and they come up with a plan. They come up with a plan after you've had some kind of life review, which happens in a blinding fast way in earth terms, and you review all of the places where you are devoid of experience or expertise. Because let's face it, there's a lot of people that understand this. We don't die. Our bodies come and go. But everybody should understand and remind themselves that Earth in the third dimension is a physical, timed, and dated experience. It's no different to speak of as tomatoes growing on the vine, and somebody said to me once a long time ago, why would you try to keep your tomato plant alive from the autumn of one year through the winter in your house and then put it back out in the yard for the next? That's not how it goes with tomatoes. And maybe someday they'll genetically modify them, but for the here and now and for the, however it's been for hundreds, thousands of years, tomatoes come up every year. And that's what we are. But we come up lifetime after lifetime with an agenda to further our spiritual wherewithal. And I do believe that. Nobody can reach nirvana. Nobody can make it to heaven, so to speak. Nobody can make it to spiritual forever perfection in one single human lifetime. Especially lots of the people that I've seen come and go, they were 1 day old. They were 6 weeks old. They were 3 years old. They were 17 years old. My life was full of that stuff, between cancer and congenital anomalies and trauma. I mean, it's when somebody that's my age passes in a hospital and they've been sick for years, it's as a physician or a healthcare provider, it's not really difficult to get past that. You lament for the family that's going to miss their dad or their brother or their sister or their mom. But for the almost 63-year-old that passes suddenly and nobody knew it was going to happen, that's pretty shitty. But when a 4-year-old passes, that's a big deal. That's a killer. That's a killer in every respect. Mm-hmm. So I do believe that there is a part of us that's our higher being, our higher self. And I think really, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I would say that that's what's communicating with me when I have an aha moment or I'm discussing something with somebody and I say something or think something or they say something that I'm not sure whether it's the truth, and all of a sudden the field all around them starts to blink and shimmer with blue sparkles here, there, and everywhere. And I've been seeing that for, over 10 years. But before 10 years, if you told me that was going to happen to me, I'd say you're smoking dope. That's ridiculous. That's a fantasy. Come on. No, but it's been happening for at least 10 years in my life, maybe more like 12 or 13.
So John, so people come into our life, for whatever reason, so it's not by accident. Suppose people leave or the relationship ends. Should you go back? Like sometimes a friendship or relationship ends and then we feel like we have to go back. And sometimes we're making the same mistakes and we never move forward. How do you feel about just giving somebody a second chance?
Oh, I'm the king of giving people a second chance, a third chance, a sixth, a 10th chance. And then after, I can't give any more.
Wow.
And it hurts so bad. And that's when I have an epiphany. I have an epiphany and I just literally wake up one day and some angel must have, perched on my bedpost and, I don't know, pooped on me, somehow imparted me some kind of angelic wisdom. And I woke up thinking, oh my God, it's over. Case in point. Long time ago, I think you knew the young lass. As a matter of fact, I was engaged to her. This is years ago. This is back in the early 80s.
Okay.
And my mom and dad knew it wasn't right, but I was either too stupid, too in love, too stubborn, I don't know what. I
Too
really was
young.
never too young and stupid and idealistic. And I just didn't see it, whatever. And then we started having really bad rocky roads. And I went off to dental school, and she went to grad school far away. And every time I called her, she acted like I had just, farted in church. It was like, in other words, the thought of me calling her was egregious. It was like, don't you get it? I'm busy. I have work to do. I'll go, well, I don't. I'm in dental school in Manhattan. I don't have
Sure.
work to do.
Yeah.
Make the long story short, it got so bad, it got so ridiculous that one night, me and the boys, my roommate, and all of the other guys that we hung with, we decided we were going to get together. It was December 1st, 1984, and we were going to get together like a bunch of mob guys, and everybody was going to cook and drink. And we came and we went to one person's apartment in Manhattan, and while we were eating and drinking and playing cards, we had such a good time. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer come on the TV,
gosh,
and of course, when Hermes says, "I want to be a dentist," oh my God, the room erupted. There was like 20 of us packed in. We were dental students, and I went home without a heaviness, without a care in the world. And I thought, my God, all of a sudden, these guys kicked open a new door for me. And when I went to bed, I knew how my personality was, that if things weren't going well, the next morning when the feel good from the night before, the drinks, the food, the camaraderie, the TV, all of that bullshit, when it wore off and the sun rose the next day, I would wake up and immediately find myself in a state of stress, anxiety, and depression. And I looked out my window and I looked east from my perch on the 22nd floor of East 23rd Street, and I was staring at the Chrysler Building and the East River, and the sky was blue and the clouds were white and puffy. It was such a beautiful sight. I saw a helicopter flying by, and all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, I don't have that heavy feeling. It's lifted off of me. Praised Jesus. It's lifted off of me. And guess what happened? The phone rang. And, this is way before cell phones. This is like, I don't know, it was 84. The phone rang. No caller ID. I pick it up. Yeah, hello. And it's her.
Oh,
It's
boy.
the woman that had been my fiance. And it seemed like the only reason why she was in my life now was to be an energy vampire and to try to pull me close and to suck the life out of me.
Wow.
Kind of like when a little kid gets reprimanded, they get smacked and they get sent to their room, by their dad who's really angry. And 20 minutes later, when everybody's happy on the outside of the room, that kid's in there realizing that, hey, wait a minute, I hear them talking, they're watching TV, they're laughing and joking, and what happens? Boom, that kid kicks the door. I'm still here and I'm still angry, and you're not going to forget about it. And everybody's going,
Forget you.
hope he didn't
Yeah.
break his toe. Well, that's what her phone calls were. Finally, it got so bad, I just said to her, hey, I says, I don't think you understand. I says, I begged you on my hands and knees. I cried for you. I lamented for you. I prayed for us. And all you did was kick me in the teeth. Don't ever, and this is a long time ago. I'd probably say the same thing today, but I said, don't ever, never call this fucking number again. We are done. I never want to hear your voice ever again. Do you understand? Wham! I didn't give her a chance to retort. Hung up on her. And I thought, again, I did the old, systems check. Where's the stress? Where's the anxiety? Where's the lament? Where's the fear? Oh, my God. Oh. And guess what?
No.
All I had was fresh air and sunshine and the view of the Chrysler Building and the East River and the clouds and the blue sky. And I was episodically in heaven in New York City.
Wow. Lesson learned at a young age, right? I guess that's why we have to go through them, John. We have to really learn. I have a friend that, when he was in a relationship, I always admired him for this, whether he was right or wrong, it's up for debate, that he would tell his significant other, listen, I'm going to walk out that door, and I'm not coming back. We're over. We either settle this now or, it's one or the other. I can't go on like this. And they would call his hand 9 times out of 10. He goes, I'm walking out the door, and that's going to be it. And God bless him. When he walked out that door, he never went back. He never gave it another shot. And that's my biggest downfalls. I always, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, all right, let's give it one more chance. And it's World War II, 1, 2, and 3 all over again. I'm like, okay, now I know. It's like sometimes you have to get hit over the head to say, wake up.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. Well, all of that bullshit with me and my ex-fiance wasn't enough to show you how fucking stupid I was, and that
we're guys. We're dumb in general.
I'm the dog without a tail, and every dog needs a tail, right? That was December 1st. That next morning was the 2nd. On December 7th, 5 days later, I went on the first date with the girl that became my wife.
Oh, see?
I just couldn't let it go.
Wow.
Oh, my God, enough wasn't enough for this idiot.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, when one door closed, another one opened, right?
It did, and the second door opened for 26 years.
Wow, and 3 beautiful children.
3 beautiful kids,
I mean,
but what a UFC match that was. It went on for 26 years.
Wow, yeah. Well, listen, no, what's that saying? Calm waters did not a sailor make.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess
that's
sometimes
true.
you have to go through some rough waters to make you the person you are, whether you're a man or a woman, if that's the proper pronoun. Right. And, and that's how you get to the next level. I'm sure now with any relationship you're in, friend-wise, spouse-wise, whatever your status is, that, it helps you. Those past experiences help us go through the...
Absolutely they do. And if you want to wonder, when I was a kid, maybe I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I found myself at the first, maybe I was 7, my first wake. My first wake that I was ever taken to was my Little League baseball coach. He died of cancer, right in the middle of the season.
Oh, what was he thinking?
Yeah, I know. And I was on the kneeler at the casket, looking at him. Jeez. And we all loved the guy because he was such a kind soul. And I'm thinking, what a waste that all of his knowledge and experience just dies.
Wow.
Like a grape falling off the vine, and then it shrivels up, or the ants eat it, or a bird comes and grabs it and takes it away and gobbles it down. Is that how it goes for people? And then with each subsequent wake that I went to, the old timers in the family, people, look, I was kind of graduated into it. And I think I said on the previous episode that the first time that people close to me started dropping like flies, I was a junior in high school.
Okay.
But before that, it was, the old gumads, the old aunts, the old uncles, the people that looked like they were in, maybe beyond 100 years old to a little kid. And I would sit there and think the same thing. Everybody's talking so fondly about them, and everything they did just dies with them. So my point here is that's not how it goes. So if you think the way I thought when I was 8 or 9 or 10, that's not how the ebb and flow of our forever selves manifest. No, we acquire and accrue and compound a load of spiritual forever know-how. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, don't be. The only time I ever saw, we're talking about wakes and funerals, the only time I ever saw my father cry was one time at a wake. My grandfather passing away.
Is that?
No. His dad died at a very early
Oh.
age. My mom, it was his father-in-law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's the only time I ever saw my father cry.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Did you ever see your father cry?
I only saw my dad cry once. It was the very second that by my interaction with my sister as she was lying in a hospital bed, I kind of pronounced with my body language and me bursting into tears and saying, "Oh, Franny," that my sister was dead. And then I heard the strangest sound I've ever heard in my life. I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
And I turned to the foot of the bed, and there was my dad, all 6'3.5" of him, sobbing like a baby. But the flip side of that is, until the day my mother died, just this past February 6th, and my mother was an empath. She was the queen of the empaths.
She was.
I never saw my mother shed a single tear. Not one. Not even that moment when my sister passed in the hospital. Nope. Not even when my dad died.
Yeah, your father was one of, if not the strongest man, character-wise, I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, he was.
Have your kids ever seen you cry? That's a big deal for men.
No, I don't know.
My kids have never seen me cry.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly.
Do men cry? Oh my gosh! And this is my daughter, and I've been waiting.
Take that.
Oh
Take
yeah.
that call.
Hey, we're in the middle of a podcast, and I picked up the phone. How important are you?
Oh my goodness, I just wanted to say hello.
All right, let me call you back when we're done. All right? I love you. Wow. I mean,
There you
talking
go.
about a father and talking about kids, I
Yeah.
mean, when your kids get a certain age and they call you, I mean, I've only been waiting for this phone call maybe 8 or 9 days, so that's okay. Wow, that's a good thing. Yeah, my kids have never, I should have asked her, never seen me cry. I mean, is that still a thing with men, that they don't cry, or do you think men nowadays are supposed to cry to show their softer side? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not that I've never cried, but
I never bought into that, real men cry bullshit.
yeah.
But I also don't buy into, real men do cry. Or what did I just say? Real men do. I don't think that it's exclusive one way or the other. I just think it depends on who you are, what your personality is, and I got news for you. If an event, God forbid, comes anyone's way, and it triggers a crying jag,
Yeah.
then fucking cry.
All right, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a real important question right now. Do you own a pink shirt?
Yes, I do. I own several pink shirts.
Wow, really?
I
Now,
know you're going to
see,
say real men wear pink.
I could consider it. I'm very impressed because I am such a, I don't know how you would, well, there's a lot of words to describe me. All right, I'm not proud of this, but I had a dress shirt, tailor-made. I had a few of them at one time.
Right.
The initials, cuff links, my initials on the cuff. And, somebody talked me into getting a pink one. And I'm like, okay, I'll get the pink one.
Yeah.
I can't wear it.
Really?
I mean, I actually put it on. I'm like, I cannot walk out of the house with a pink shirt.
Well, they say that's a sign of inner self-doubt.
Self-doubt. I'm
Yeah, I
Mr.
don't-
Self-doubt. Are you kidding me? I'm all
So-
over the place with self-doubt.
So am I, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what?
I can't do it. So I admire a guy like you that you can put a pink shirt on.
I know the day. I can remember the day, without sounding like Jose, who remembers what pitch he threw. Remember at that
God-
moment?
yeah,
He was in.
God bless
It was in. Where was he? In West Point. Because
Yeah.
it was the third pitch. What?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
He was such a
But
great guest.
my first pink shirt came by way of one of my old girlfriends who I was very, very close with and in love with. And we were at the mall, and she goes, let's look for some shirts for you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, she wants to look for shirts for me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And it was summertime, and I was all tan and stuff.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I was in great shape,
sure.
And she throws this off the rack, this pink shirt up. She goes, "Oh my God, no, not this one, no." Then, yeah. What do you think? You like the first one? You like the second? And she bought me 2 pink shirts, and
Hey.
I thought,
Yeah.
wow, okay. And listen, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
not so much anymore, Gangula. But back then, if I thought a girl was going to be pleased with some order of mannerism being displayed by me, I would have probably stripped naked, done a handstand in the corner, and stuck one thumb up my ass. How's that?
That's a trick.
Well,
Maybe in a future podcast.
maybe. Maybe. What do you think, Bones?
I'll
No,
tell you-
I know. You just got out of surgery, so you can't do that.
I think, John, that's one of my biggest problems in a relationship. It's almost like this is a therapy session we're having today.
It is.
It
Well,
is,
look,
right?
This whole thing's a therapy
Yeah.
section because the world's
But-
in such a fucking bag of shit.
Yeah, you can only talk about so many of the world stuff. But I mean, and well, maybe somebody could pick up some tips from our prior relationships. But I just to please somebody else. I'm not that guy anymore. I just don't care. I don't know if it's the scars. I don't know if it's just you get as you get older, you just get like a grumpy old man. I don't know. I don't seem too grumpy.
Maybe, just maybe now you know better because, like I said, I was that idiot that, regardless of the manner of action, I would have done anything, and if it made that right person happy, or get off, or be thrilled, I would have made a monkey out of myself, right? Making a monkey out of yourself is what they would have said back in the older when we were kids. I think we both realize now as we get older, and it's not because our bodies have changed. Fuck no. It's just because we've gained some psycho-emotional awareness that trying to get a girl, a woman, a wife, or if you're a girl, your husband, or whoever you're with, whoever your same-sex significant other is. I don't care if you're two non-binaries. I don't know what you get when you add two non-binaries. Maybe it comes up to a 0. I don't know. You can't add 0 to anything, expect a new number. So think about what it really says if you go to those lengths to make a monkey out of yourself, to do something ridiculous and offbeat and stupid, something unbecoming of you, just to make somebody else happy. If you actually do that, number one, they're a fucking fool for letting you do it. That means they're the wrong person. And what is it that you're saying about yourself? That you don't really have any respect for yourself. So now I think you have respect for yourself, and so do I. And I couldn't give a rat's fucking ass what other people think of me. Because as I get older, I do become more and more of an island. Even though the old expression is no man is an island.
Sure, yeah. It's amazing, John, the personality and the psychological, I don't know if that's the right word, how we think different as we get older, we react different. I say it's like a callus. It's like a shell. Like, maybe, you don't jump as high like I don't because, you don't want to go through the whole, you don't want to get hurt.
I think we still find ourselves, look, who are we kidding, right? We still find ourselves the trained poodles at the circus. Remember the poodles at the circus with the hoops? Oh, there goes the poodle. Oh, now they're dancing with a little tutu skirt on, and now they're going through the hoop. Well, we just jumping through different hoops.
Maybe.
We are because we still find ourselves, we avail ourselves to our significant others, but we do it in a different way. I think making a monkey out of ourselves when we were in our teens and 20s and 30s
Please.
was just really
So embarrassing.
but something that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Because if you never went through it, you'd never understand it. You'd say, well, I don't believe it. Oh, yeah, I don't think, how could you do that? How could you? So right away you start judging other people because you've never done it.
Yeah.
You've never done it.
I said that to Jose in yesterday's episode, the struggle, no matter what your struggle is a gift. That's the only way you're going to learn.
Right.
And, when it comes to struggling in relationships, I'm the king. So, but I don't know if I'm learning. You know what I mean? John, if you had to alchemize this wonderful therapeutic episode, how would you do it?
Well, I think I'd say people who need people.
Oh, the luckiest people.
Pull in a hair close, Phil. are the luckiest people in the world.
Wow.
So we find ourselves working through our hardships and our friction points, and we slay our demons very often in conjunction with the people that move in and out of our lives. And that takes us right back to the original premise. People move in and out of our lives,
yes,
right?
yes.
So here we've incorporated Bones
Yes.
into the cast and crew. Quite frankly, Phil D'Angelo came out of nowhere because we hadn't seen each other in quite a while, other than, wakes and funerals and repasts. And it's as if no time had passed.
Not a second, not a minute.
Not a
Pretty
second,
amazing.
not a minute. And we bring literally to the table, we bring a lifetime of, what's the expression? A can of whoop ass. Life delivered to both of us, and of course Bones, it's obvious just taking a look at him, right?
Yeah, had a tough road.
Life has delivered unto us a tanker truck of whoop ass. And that's the truth. So all of a sudden, all of the stupid, mundane, childish bullshit that may be wedged in between people, in between friends and lovers and whatnot, it all just evaporates.
Amen.
And then when the stage production is over, look, no matter how long a play runs on Broadway, when it's over, it's over, and the cast and crew have beautiful memories. Even if they didn't like their co-star, they'll have beautiful memories and a shit fuck ton of money in their pocket, probably, I hope. I mean, tickets are expensive enough. So I think alchemizing this would be to say, thank God for God's divine plan. What is God's divine plan? It is true that we think we can be an island, and sometimes we have to become more of an island to just, create and hold those boundaries. Boundaries are so important. When you don't have boundaries, or you don't have the wherewithal to shore up your boundaries, you get fucking hammered and you get run over and you get crushed and you get torpedoed. And then you start hating life and you hate other people and you resent everybody around you. And really it's your own fault because you just don't have the fucking wherewithal. So God's divine plan is people are in our lives. And it's people who need people, and they're the luckiest people in the world. And Phil, I thank every day that you're here, that
Right back at you, brother.
we're
Right back
forever
at you.
friends and Bones. If you had a cheek, I would pinch it. So it is God's plan, people.
Go with the plan.
Every time you want to either think twice about God's plan or you want to subvert God's plan with your own ego, your own egotistical plans, think twice, people. Think twice. The life that you save may save your own. God bless.
Well,
See you again, friends, on the next version of The Jersey Alchemist.
absolutely. If you like what we're doing, people, press follow and like and
subscribe and share. Please share. We're fighting the platform algorithms
Every day.
that are set on keeping us hidden. Why? Because we're saying everything that they don't want us to say. Fuck off.
Loud and
How's that
clear.
for alchemy?
and a peace. Until next time.